Welcome to the For Your Thoughts podcast, where psychology, pop culture, and self meet. I am here with Reggie. He is a writer, actor, and comedian. A lot of you guys might know him as TSA BAE from Insecure, but he's much, much more than that. And that's what I want this interview to show. Y'all know how we met because we just talked about that. So we're going to get into the interview, and we always start with an advice column. So you're going to help me answer people's questions.
Who, me?
Yeah. Or give advice. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
I haven't even read this one yet. So it says, "Hey, Pennie, I've been texting this guy for almost 2 weeks. We only had one phone call that I made, and he acted so shy on the phone with me, and we haven't made any plans to hang out since. Is that weird? What should I do?" You go first. And let me know if you need me to repeat it.
She's been texting a guy. She called him once and he was weird.
They've been texting for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They had one phone call, and I guess on the phone call he was kind of shy, more shy. And he hasn't made any plans since the phone call. Is it weird? What should she do?
Sounds like she's got one of these internet niggas that are really good with DMing and tweets and social media, but when you take that away, he's a little weird.
Right, he's not personable.
Yeah. So I got a friend like that that's really good online, DMing, and he gets, he meets his girls online, but then if he can't talk to women in person, it's kind of weird.
Right. What does he do? Does he know that he's like that, or you just peep that?
He knows. He's like, my in-person game is trash. He doesn't know what to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But his online game is good. He got some good online games. So maybe this guy's texting is A1, but his conversation isn't that. So I mean, I don't know. I would try to set up something else with him. Try to, get him talking a little bit.
Right. He probably just is you said what?
Go ahead. What you about to say?
He probably just is a shy person, because it's really easy to be behind a phone, a phone screen. That's the easiest thing ever.
I can't stand a shy dude.
Right.
Is he calling himself shy, or she's calling him shy?
No, I'm saying he might just be shy. If he was, he said, okay. And she said that he acted shy on the phone.
Yeah, he probably just got a good strong text game.
Yeah, text game, online game type thing.
Yeah.
It's easy to create a character online. My advice, if he's too shy for you, then he probably just not even, you don't even need to go there, because he, you know what I'm saying? I would probably link up one time in person and see if it was just, one time thing.
So you saying she should dump them all together?
I'm saying she should try one more time, but if that's still the same energy and it's not aligning with hers, then there's no reason to really move further.
I try again, like you said, try again.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's still shy, then go the other way.
Yep, and that's it.
Pay attention to the texting combo too. If his text game is continuously strong, and then you meet him and it's trash, then
Or even just ask him about it and be because he might just really just be anxious and stuff. And I feel a lot of people now are used to not being around people as much as we used to be, because of the pandemic, and you can kind of lose that groove of humans.
Yeah, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad.
Mm-hmm. Try again. Huh?
I said you almost punched me, so sometimes your in-person game is not good, and your text it depends. It depends. I like to think I'm pretty good in person, but it's not the first time I was about to get socked.
Right. Yes. Okay, guys. So definitely email me y'all's letters, pennie.nasty@gmail.com, or DM them to me. And we're going to get into the interview. So I always start with asking people who were they, who are they now, and where do they see themselves in the future?
I am Reggie Conquest.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Philadelphian, born and raised. I'm very proud of my city and where I'm from. Growing up, I grew up in a very toxic ass city and a toxic ass environment. And I started doing stand up because I wasn't doing nothing. Like I didn't go to college or nothing like that. I was running the streets doing absolutely nothing. And then I started comedy and
Like what age was that?
I started comedy when I was like 22.
Okay.
So a lot of my time went to going to comedy clubs in Philly and just hanging out, talking shit. I love the hang. I love the camaraderie of comics. So
Mm-hmm.
just hanging out, and that was kind of like my fraternity, is just hanging out with comics. When all my friends was graduating college or whatever they was doing at 22, I was down at comedy clubs, um, drinking, smoking, hanging, making jokes. And then it's like, all right, the comedy is bigger than Philly, so it was either New York or LA. So I chose New York
Mm-hmm.
to get better at stand up, and that was the only goal. And then fast forward, you moved to New York 2012 or 2013, and I've been in New York for about 11 years. And it comedy goes into acting, so Insecure just happened. Like it was just like LA, first visit, first audition, and then boom, I got this
Mm-hmm.
role. Did
Mm-hmm.
I fast forward too much?
No. Well, we'll get into it. So like so a lot of people are funny, but it takes like a different type of skill to do like actual comedy. So when did you know that you were funny, and then when were you like, okay, and like walk us through that, like paint that picture. Okay, I can actually do this as a career. The stand up thing.
I mean, it took a while for it to be like, once I seen some of my friends getting shit, like getting stuff and being on TV and making money, I was like, oh, this could happen.
Like it's
You gotta-
possible.
yeah, it's possible. You just gotta keep doing it. But if you're just doing stand up, it's not a lot of success at first. Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't act like Insecure broke me. So it wasn't from
Right.
my stand up. Stand up takes a very long time and it's a long grind. And it's some funny ass people in it that haven't evolved yet, because stand up is such a, first of all, it's changing, and it's not like it was like in the 90s. Like I remember in Def Jam and all that stuff, those dudes would go up there and do 5 minutes and then boom, they're in movies, they're in TV shows, stuff like that. It's changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, stand up. I knew I wanted to live off it when I moved to New York. I knew
Okay.
when I first moved to New York, I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing with my life.
Oh, you just booked another role in Scream, right? I've never seen any of the Screams. Tell us about that
Never seen
experience.
none of them.
No, is it because I used to be afraid of scary movies. I'm not even sure if it's an actual scary movie. It is, right?
It's a slasher.
Oh, okay. So I used to be like anti, but so I haven't seen any basically, except for like recent ones. So
Yeah.
tell us about that experience. And I read that you said like the cast was amazing, the crew was amazing, and I guess like based on your experience as an actor, like what makes a good like cast and crew?
Uh, what makes a good cast and crew? Acting. I see why actors are like they pamper you. They like, you need anything, you're fine. Everybody's so nice, and I see why some actors can be assholes.
And like
Um,
narcissist, yeah.
yeah, like narcissists and that, because the way they treat you like royalty. Like you got an assistant. Hey, I'll get you coffee, whatever you need. Stay in your trailer. Anything you like. They really are. Even like Insecure was just like, all right, I can go get my coffee, and they're like, no, 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 you okay? You're fine. And it's just like, oh, I see why actors are assholes, because you got so much. It's everything is pampered to you.
Right. So Issa did so of course we know you as TSA BAE, and we know that she does such a good job at like Black representation. And for lack of better, like, reference, to see like an average size woman with a huskier man, it wasn't what we're used to seeing. I know you talked a lot about like you saw like a lot of like not body shaming. You kind of joked about it, but always wondered like how did that actually make you feel in a sense? Although we loved it because people do like huskier men, it's not like a taboo thing in real life, I guess, but it's not seen in media. So I wonder, like, how was that experience actually for you?
I mean, I kind of knew it was. I knew that comes with it. I knew the jokes. I knew the body shaming. I kind of knew it was gonna come with it afterwards.
Right.
It didn't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. I didn't feel. I'm not on Twitter, but I seen this stuff because my friends would text it to me, or it was just a good time, and it was like, "Ooh, damn!" They were going in. So it was like, you know, I kind of knew it came with it. I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. A comedian. Wait, so you're not on Twitter still?
No, I'm not on Twitter.
Dang, that's good. Because most people, I feel like, get their like whole everything from Twitter. So that means that your stuff just comes from like what real life experiences and stuff.
What do you mean?
You know what I
Get
mean?
everything from
I feel
Twitter?
like a lot of like internet comedians and just, commentators or whatever, like a lot of their like dialogue and, I guess their jokes and storytelling, like it's like a lot that's going on like on the internet or on Twitter. And they kind of like take those and put that into their sets or put that into their commentary in a sense. Not a lot of people, but a heavy majority of them. I could be wrong because I'm not in that world, but by
Yeah, I mean,
observation.
I don't get into Twitter like that because I mean I was on it, but once the internet started to change and it became like this uplifting place, and it changed, and I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, I'm out, I'm done, because I would have, they would have canceled me for tweets, some old tweets that
Hell
I,
yeah.
because I used to be reckless on Twitter because I got on at a time where it was okay to be reckless,
Yeah, I remember those days. I remember like 2010, like back then.
Yeah, like
It
two.
was fun.
I got on Twitter on like 2008. So, and at the time, I don't even think I was a comic. So it was like we used to just tweet awful shit and about women, about race, about niggas be like black, like it was no
Yeah, that was a
pics.
hashtag. Niggas be like, bitches be like.
Yeah, it was
It
no
was a
pics.
thing.
So once that changed, I was like, all right, it's time for me to get off of this.
Hmm. So what do you think about cancel culture then? That was one of my questions for way later. But like, Dave Chappelle's experience with cancel culture. And do you think people are too sensitive nowadays, especially when it comes to comedians? Because a part of y'all's thing is to tell like the uncomfortable truths and stuff like that. So what's been your
You
experience
think
with that?
you think Dave Chappelle got canceled?
No, I don't think so. But I'm talking. No,
Oh yeah.
talking about they tried to. He's not canceled. They
I
tried
don't
it.
think I don't think it's real. I never thought it was real. Um,
Mm-hmm.
'Cause everybody that's so-called canceled is not canceled.
Right. They still here. Even like Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
They
he's
tried
still
him.
still working. Still, I don't know the list. Only ones that were canceled were the ones that did actual crimes: the R. Kellys, the Bill Cosbys, the Harvey
Mm-hmm.
Weinstein's. But everybody else is really canceled.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about the sensitivity though of just society these days and
I
everyone
think
wanting, yeah.
I don't think social, like it's times where I won't post a thought on something, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
go on stage and say it.
Right.
I won't type it in words because I've thought of some awful things to tweet, or not tweet, but I do Instagram stories and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll think of something and I'll go, you know what? I'm gonna say that for stage because it's just you get an immediate reaction for something, and you know, Twitter. I've seen comics tweet stuff and get in trouble for tweets, and people will screenshot it, and you got people responding. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think comics should be on Twitter. I think
Right.
comedians should be off of Twitter and save it for the stage. You know what I mean?
But even on the stage, like, do you see it like just, the fear of being canceled for what you say or the fear of being like not even canceled because it really is not real, but the fear of being judged? Do you see that affecting with the whole, like from how it was back then to now? Do you see a difference? Or, or everyone's still like, fuck it?
Yeah, everybody I'm around is still like, okay, we still
Okay,
talk how
good.
we want to talk and say awful things like we want to say
Hmm.
awful things. So
Hmm.
yeah, I can't really, I don't really move like that.
Hmm. Okay, that's good. That's good to hear because I feel like I know some people, like some internet comedians, like I don't want to say no names, but they definitely do still think about those things. All right, so you did like a sex scene with Issa. How is it like doing sex scenes like in front of people and then with like a woman? Like, how is that as an actor? What was your experience like?
I mean, that was my first scene. My
Mm-hmm.
first scene ever was a sex scene. So Insecure was my first role.
Oh shit, that's crazy. That's a good first role. Dang.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, I
Can
mean,
you walk us through that experience, like how you got it and all that type of stuff, like the whole story?
So I went to a comedy festival, did pretty good at the comedy festival, got agents, then I had to go out LA to meet with agents. Then as I'm leaving, they're like, "Hey, we got a audition for you, Insecure." And I was like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. And then I'll go back home. And I mean, I went and there was just a bunch of other fat niggas in the room. And I think I went first. And then I was like, all right, did the audition. Because at this time I've auditioned for plenty of stuff. So I didn't think nothing of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going back to the airport. They're like, yo, they want you to come back. And I'm like, what? Like my flight's about to leave, blah, blah, blah. I
Mm-hmm.
start calling people like, yo, you think I should leave? You think I should? They're like, no, just stay. So I end up staying and I got the part. And it happened so
So
fast,
quick, yeah. I
so
remember
quick.
you were saying like, was it they didn't tell you what you were auditioning for, or they did?
Oh no, they didn't tell me it was Issa.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, so, and you didn't know what Insecure was,
Yeah,
or
I knew
what?
what Insecure was. I didn't watch Insecure at the time, but I knew who Issa was.
Right.
But it was on the audition, it said Alicia, some character. So I was going around asking people that I know watching Insecure. I'm like, yo, who's Alicia? And they're like, must be a new character. So I knew it was a
Mm,
sex scene, but I didn't know it was Issa.
you know, okay.
They didn't put Issa on my audition
On the
paper.
thing, yeah, probably so you wouldn't like freak out, or like, why would? What's the reason behind that?
I don't probably freak out, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and like not be chill about it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't know it was Issa until later. Like I auditioned in front of Issa,
Mm-hmm.
and Prentice and all them, like the whole, that whole staff. So I didn't know it was Issa though, and Issa
Mm-hmm.
was sitting right there. So
You just didn't put two and two together.
I did not put two and two together.
So I interviewed Natasha Rothwell and Amanda Seales, I think for season 2. Yeah, I asked them a question. It was like, basically, in a sense, how is it to work with a lot of other, with full cast and crew of that are of color and are super talented, and like what that space is like? Was it different than other spaces? I wonder if you had like a different experience than you've had like on other sets, but it was your first time, so you had like a different situation.
I was just sitting there like, wow, I can't believe I'm here.
Right.
And like I said, I still didn't realize how big Insecure was. I didn't really realize it until season 5. Like even after season 4 aired, because I went through a whole pandemic. So the pandemic happened. I was in the house.
Uh,
I didn't get to see the watch parties and all that stuff. And before getting the role on that show, I hadn't watched Insecure. I used to just watch it I always knew what was going on. I always was Team Lawrence, no matter
mm-hmm.
what.
Why? Wait, let's why?
Because he's a man and I'm a man.
Okay.
I didn't even know what
So,
was.
but basically, y'all niggas won because that's how it ended.
Yeah. I'm a man. Lawrence is a man. I default, I was Team Lawrence. So I didn't realize how huge Insecure. When I went around and seen all the watch parties, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like this shit is crazy. Even the last episode, like my friends had
Mm-hmm.
to tell me that it was like a historic thing to be a part of this black ass show that's
Yeah.
been around for 5. And I was just like, what? So I got a little emotional watching the last episode, even though I still didn't finish season 1 and 2.
I need you to go back
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
started
just
it.
go back and watch. You know, it literally like you're definitely like a part of history, which is super dope.
Crazy.
That's
That's
crazy, but I love how that happens. I feel like that's how I'm a spiritual. That's how like God works with a lot of things. That you know, if something's like meant for you, and not just insecure, but I'm talking about like you and your whole career, like things like that happen like naturally, and they just align, and you just be like, damn, like that's some crazy ass shit like that. I was just that you were just a part of it, you know, and didn't even like you weren't even I guess like pressed for that you know situation, which is very very dope. What do you appreciate most about what Insecure has done for the industry and like Black television?
Well, Issa the GOAT, and
Mm-hmm.
I already see certain shows are not on purpose mimicking any black ass show like that's being made now. We're all going to look back at Insecure and compare it to Insecure, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she changed the game as far as that type of stuff. Like I don't even know how
Yeah,
to.
especially her coming from, you know, make like just doing something on the internet and creating it like that. It just shows that you can literally like build your own table, create like if something's not there, you can really make it if you want to. And then make a lane for a bunch of other people, you know, that come
Yeah,
after you.
yeah, she's amazing for that, and so
Mm-hmm.
like so much of our culture and black TV today is inspired from Insecure. Like it's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Even your friend's show, ISO and Flatbush Misdemeanors.
Yeah.
That show is that show is dope. That's an amazing situation too. Did
Watch
he start writing that after? Yeah. After or before? Like
after
what
what?
like when did he start writing, I guess, that show or come up with the idea, if you do know?
He 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 started that, and we moved to New York 2013. So he started that right away. So that's been around.
Mm-hmm.
That was a web series at first, kind
Yeah.
of like Aqua Black Girl. So that was a web series that him and his co-producer, co-creator started, and they spent their own money and they got their own cameras and they shot it as a YouTube series, and
Mm-hmm.
then it turned into Showtime Flatbush Misdemeanors.
That's wild. Like me and his little brother are super cool, and I had no. He must be really low key because I had no idea like that was his show. Because I guess he's not really like on the internet like that, which is really cool too. Do you ever? You're a writer as well. Do you ever see yourself creating a show, or do you see yourself more on the acting side of things and stand up?
All the above. I mean, we're working on something that I'm creating now, so all the above. I want all of it.
You want everything.
Creator, writer, produce, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and acting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'm excited
Mm-hmm.
for it.
So we hear a lot about comedians like struggling with addiction, substance abuse, and like you know like Robin Williams, and I feel like a lot, rest in peace, I feel like a lot of times a lot of people who bring so much like light and joy to the world kind of have really like deep internal battles. I wonder what are your thoughts on that, and can you relate to that at all?
You remember that it, comedy is comedy is just anger. Like you're making fun of uh something that pisses you off. Like Kevin Hart had a tour or a special called Laugh at My Pain, where he
Mm-hmm.
was talking about his divorce and what he was going through. And at the end, like Richard Pryor talked about lighting himself on fire and his coke addiction and all this shit. And it is something in that where you like I do a lot of self-deprecation jokes, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I can't think of but there is something in you can find a joke in anything. Like anytime something awful happens, it's like I can almost find a joke in it. Like Kobe's
Mm-hmm.
death. Kobe's death, the night of, I made a joke about it on stage. And it was kind of like, but it was funny, but it was like,
What'd you
so
say?
I don't want to say it. You
Okay.
gotta come to a show and I'll do it. But yeah, so some like my friend passed away and we immediately sat at the cellar, sat at the table and was just making jokes. And if you don't know if you don't know us and you know somebody just died, it's like, wow, these people are awful, you know. But no
Right.
matter what, how awful something is, it's always a joke in something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how a lot of me and my friends deal with stuff. Like we
Right. I feel like
do.
that's how a lot of African Americans deal with things because they're, we have been through so much, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I definitely think it's like a healthier coping mechanism than a lot of things. But I guess when you kind of like cover that up and never deal with what's going on the inside, it's going to come out eventually, no matter
Yeah,
how much you joke about it, which is how
yeah.
I feel like, people end up committing suicide, overdosing, you know, all of those things.
All the above.
Yeah. And
How
I've
you
heard a lot also. Go ahead.
how do you deal with your shit?
Dang, that's a good question. Nobody's ever thrown that back at me. Okay. I would say one, I'm definitely like a people pleaser. So I'll be like overly nice to compensate for like any anxious feelings or any negative feelings. I'll just try to like be just like this good person type thing, whatever. Um,
Good
but
time.
definitely I think the main thing is that whole like overcompensating with a bunch of niceness, which sucks because that means like you're like boundaryless or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but now I found like way healthier coping stuff. I went to therapy. I meditate, do yoga, and like eat healthier. Like that's like definitely been helping, especially like the 10-minute morning meditations.
Yeah, I've tried to do that. I'm not consistent at all.
Have you tried to use an app
I've tried it all.
for
I
real?
you know what I
Even if it's
do?
like 10 minutes?
I listen. This is what I do. I listen to sleep meditations to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll listen to that in the morning. I mean, it's playing into because I got Spotify, so it plays all night. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to sleep meditations, and in the morning, you can hear it as I'm waking up. So it's kind of like I'm meditating. Sometimes I'll just lay there and listen to it.
Yeah, just lay down and close your eyes. That's not like my favorite thing to do. Like it could be like right after this, after I do anything that exerts energy, I'll just lay down like this and close my eyes for like a second and then leave it at that.
Yeah.
It
So
works.
I guess I do that a lot.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
definitely meditation. As long as you're still, that's what it is
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
it is kind of nice to wake up to.
No, we didn't. The hardest part about comedy and the most rewarding part.
The hardest part.
Stand
Uh,
up.
yeah, maybe the hardest part is like, for me, I'm not the strongest joke writer. I kind of speak truth, but sometimes I have trouble finding the joke in it. Like, just being honest. Like I talk about my brother having addictions a lot, and sometimes I'll
Mm-hmm.
just go up there and talk. And it's a form of therapy too. I don't go to therapy. I told myself I'm gonna try to go this year. So it is a form of therapy of like going on stage and just venting. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're venting and it's no joke. People are just like, this nigga is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes that can be tough, like coming up with fresh ideas and new jokes and new premises. But also, like I watch the news a lot. I try to read an article a day. I'm not consistent, but I try to read something like a article on something. And then the most rewarding part, I think, like I said, the hang, like the camaraderie that comics have. Like every night, I'm around some of the funniest people working. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
it's a blessing. Like just last night, we were out. I mean, it's not healthy either because we out till 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I think. Was it Tiffany Haddish? I'm not sure who it was. Somebody or a lot of comedians say that, but that's a part of y'all's even like studying and everything like that. But it's
Yeah,
also
so
like, dang, but I'm out till 4 in the morning
it's
turning
it's
up.
it's
So
hang.
how that work?
It's not even you partying. It's just you're literally. Yesterday we literally sat at a table and was just yelling and drinking and. But if you're not a comic, it's not like if you come with me to the cellar, you're just going to kind of be sitting there, and I mean you'll conversate, but it's just like we can do that all night,
Mm-hmm.
like every single night. Just sit there and just talk about shit, argue, yellow. I mean yellow. cuss,
Yeah.
all types of shit, and just be there all night. So
I
I
did
do
have a
love
good time with y'all, although it was more of us. I did have a good time with you. And is it Jonah?
Jonas.
Jonas, yes. Yeah, like y'all were super duper cool. So is there any comedian that you look to? And if any, why exactly? Or
Uh,
inspired by?
mostly, mostly like my peers that I with night in and night out.
Mm-hmm.
Watching them eat, watching them get laughs, and they give me advice, I give them advice. We like cheer each other on.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Can
so
you
yeah,
name a few?
Jonas is one. Jonas
Yes,
is
he's great.
one of the guys that really bring it out of me, make me feel my most self.
Mm-hmm.
Amina Amani is my homegirl. She's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Monroe Martin, Derek Gaines, Che. It's a lot. I can go, and these are not like huge names, but they're like they're funny. They're all funny, and
Mm-hmm.
they keep me like on it.
Inspired and like your
Yeah,
mind going.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to them. So you're also on this, I guess. Well, before we even get there, I feel like comedy is a risk, and even just any creative outlet or as an actual job, acting, it's all a risk. Who is in your support system outside of the comedians that you've named, and like how do you deal with the no's and the rejections and things like that? So I know there, especially with acting, there's hella.
Yeah, you don't take none of it personal. I learned
Right.
that like nothing's personal in this shit, and keep moving. Like I believe in this shit wholeheartedly, and I believe that yeah. What was I saying? Fuck. Losing it.
You're fine.
I just believe in it. Like and I don't take nothing personal.
Mm-hmm. You're just
Nothing.
like, yeah.
Yeah, nothing is personal. No, you can't take anything personal in this business. People are full of shit. They blow smoke up your ass, and you just, what I mean. Like I was just telling Amina, like, cause she Amina from Atlanta. She from the hood. She don't got time. So
Mm-hmm.
she'll
Mm-hmm.
cuss you out and tell you she don't fuck with you. And I just tell her like, yo, you don't gotta tell everybody you don't fuck with them. You
You
can
just
just
don't
not,
fuck with them
yeah, you can just not fuck with them. You know what I mean? And
and show
then
them later, or even don't even have to. But
yeah, like it's mad people where I go, I don't fuck with this person, but they don't know I don't fuck with them. You know
right.
what I mean? And you just keep it cordial like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like you don't have to tell everybody you don't fuck with them.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like doing like stand up or just being this has built like a tougher skin for you outside of this, like in actual real life?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. If it wasn't for, if I was in a different space when that Insecure episode aired and the Twitter shit, because I know how going through that, through the tweets and the body shaming and the internet kind of like bullying. If I didn't have to, I see why people break down.
Hell
Like
yeah.
we see like I remember when that girl Chloe was
Chloe Bailey. Yeah.
yeah, and then it's like you just showing yourself and being who you are, and then people are like whore. Da, da, da. I can see how somebody like that will go, this, like this is not, this is fucked up, like, or not be
Mm-hmm.
able to handle it. The average person can't handle being tortured like that. You know what I
Not at
mean?
all.
So it's like I don't get mad when I see. So I love seeing celebrities or basketball, especially basketball players. They really make me laugh when they respond to like a dumb fan saying something. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know if I had a Twitter when they was getting killed, I probably would have responded to some of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would have looked. Anytime you react online, you lost.
Yeah, literally, you're done for.
Anytime you react, anytime you show any, emotion or anything, you lost. But I'm glad I wasn't on Twitter. I just read and I laughed and kept it moving.
Mm-hmm. And for the most part, it's crazy because you kind of focus on the negative comments, but like my timeline wasn't even like when your moment happened, they were happy that there was more representation. It wasn't like a thing, oh my God, look at this fat dude. Like it wasn't nothing like that. It was like this is actually hilarious. This is dope that this is even happening. But then there's a whole other side that's totally different. And a lot of times the people behind those, they're the most average people ever. So, and they could never even step to do what you're doing, let alone handle the, the ridicule that or criticism that could come with that. So it's kind of
like I said, I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew it was coming, so it was nothing.
Okay, so I feel like are you on a weight loss journey or like a healthy lifestyle journey? Because you asked me about smoothies and stuff. So I want to know what you did. You were like, send me a smoothie recipe, unless you were just saying that. But I feel like I see no, and then you have.
I probably was just trying to see.
But you also got a bike, so I'm like, nah, he really is like.
Oh
yeah, and some other stuff. Well, it's cold as hell.
Yeah, I gotta check them out. But no,
what's the bike's name again?
Sade.
Okay, Sade. The way you say it.
I love that name. If I had a daughter tomorrow, her name would be Sade.
But now you can't name your daughter that because you named your bike that. Or can you?
My daughter, yeah, you can do both.
Okay. If I was your daughter, I'd be like, okay. If you are like doing like a healthy, like a wellness journey or whatever.
No, I mean, I'll be on and off. Like I work out a lot, like, daily. Like I try to get like 15, 20 minutes in of something. I don't know if it's like a journey. It's just something for me to get the endorphins out
and feel better. Endorphins, yep.
So, I don't know if it's a journey. I did buy that bike to ride, of course, and get some exercise in, but people were like, oh, you need a helmet. And it's like, I'm not riding this bike in the city. Like, I'm not riding. I ride this bike to Prospect Park.
You do need a helmet, though.
I don't need a helmet because I only ride in Prospect Park.
But people be getting knocked off their bike and just flying out to the.
If I get knocked off my bike in Prospect Park, I deserve it. Because there's nothing there's no cars or nothing.
You have to join. They have a bunch of like black like bike clubs that actually super cool.
Yeah, I live down the street from one. I live down the street from. Let me not tell people where I live.
Yeah, but you should definitely.
But I do live in Flatbush. I love Flatbush.
Then you'll need a helmet though if you do that though.
No, I want to look cool.
Okay. So what's been your favorite smoothie recipe? If you can recall.
I keep it simple. I do a little protein powder, strawberries, kale. Getting into the flaxseed a little bit, but I stopped.
Why? It's good for your digestion. And it's good for your brain too, and your cognition.
Oh, look at you knowing all the facts. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. A little something.
Yeah, and because it makes you feel better. I feel like I work out because it just makes it makes me happier and my brain is more clear to do whatever I need to do. I'm sure it helps with your jokes and your writing whenever you get on your bike, Sade.
Yeah. Exactly. When you gonna get a bike? Get a bike.
I know. I said this last summer that I'll get one last summer, and then summer was over. But I'm gonna do it this summer for sure. Cause I feel like whenever I do bike, it's just it feels like bliss.
Yeah,
it
bike.
Feels good.
I love it.
So we leave off with what brings you peace of mind?
Well, I mean, I guess is listening to jazz basic?
No, actually, that's a first. That's good.
Yeah, I've been really getting into my jazz bag.
Okay, send me some stuff.
Or just like instrument. Like I am a big fan of. I like music with no words. Now I'm getting, like right now when we done this, I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna put on this playlist, and it's just instrumentals. It's just horns and pianos, and I kind of fall asleep to it. Kind of like the sleep meditation, but the sleep meditation is somebody talking. But this one is just instruments. I be in my jazz bag a lot now.
I love that. Like jazz in the morning. Sometimes, like how you said, you kind of wake up to the music in the morning. During the pandemic, I would wake up to like jazz, and specifically this song. I'll send it to you. It's Gato's Gift by Joel Ross. Literally, it's like the best way. It's like, okay, like life is good. It just makes you feel like life is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I, listen to jazz, take my edibles, and chill.